I want to tell y'all a story about why you should never work at Walmart, ever. In case y'all didn't know, I had gotten another job and it was at Walmart. So I have my regular job, my main job, the real one, and then I have DoorDash that I do on the side. And then I had also gotten hired at Amazon, and then there was Walmart. So the reason why I took the job at Walmart was for a couple of reasons. I wanted extra money, not need, want. Now, remember I said that because that's gonna come in handy near the end of this story when I say needed versus wanted. I didn't need the money, but I wanted the money. Okay. So I took the job at Walmart. I went for an interview and everything, blah, blah, blah. So after the interview, I didn't hear from anybody for like a week. And then all of a sudden, I got a random phone call at like 8 something or 9 something in the morning from some kid that works at Walmart. And he was just like, can you come in today? And I was like confused. I'm like, why would someone be calling me the day of asking me to come in? Why not give me some advance notice? Because I have another job, as they already know. So anyway, luckily I was off that day and I was able to go in. So I went in, and when I got there were 2 other people there that were also just starting. And they also said they got this random phone call from this kid at like very early in the morning. So we're there, we're waiting. And then the lady who did the interviews with us like a week before, she came out and she took us into the training room. And the reason why I said training room is because it looks like it used to be, I don't know, like a closet or something. But a good sized closet, but a closet. And they converted the closet into a training room. So it had like these makeshift tables and chairs and a couple of computers, like 4 or 5 computers. So we went in there and she was like, okay, so we're here today to do the online training. And that should take you guys the rest of the day. So it was 2:30 and she was saying we should be done by like 10 or 11. Now, I don't know what kind of training this was, but I was just trying to figure out why the hell is it going to take all day? I already knew it in myself. I'm not going to take all day to be doing this stupid ass training. So, anyway, so she was like, if you're not done with the training today, come back at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. 7 a.m. 7. Okay, so at that point, I was like, I'm definitely going to finish this today because I don't want to come back at 7 a.m. But then even after that, she said, even if you don't finish, still come back at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we were like, 7 a.m., like that's really early. Like, what are we going to be doing? Because keep in mind, the shift that we all had interviewed for, applied for, was an overnight shift. So it was from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I chose that shift for 2 reasons. One, to accommodate my other job, the real one, because usually I finish that job at 11. But then I had changed my schedule a bit to finish at 8. So I had some time in between. And the second reason was because I don't want to deal with any customers. And they close at 11, and that's when I want to be arriving, when people are leaving. Because first of all, I don't want nobody asking me no questions, and I don't want to help nobody. That's the reason why I want to work overnight, because I don't want to deal with no stupid customers, period. So the fact that she was telling us to come back at 7 a.m. was a problem for me. But anyway, so I finished the training in like 5 hours, left, went home, blah, blah, blah. And then the next morning came back at 7 a.m. So got there at 7 a.m. and there were like 4 or 5 additional new people sitting out front waiting. 7 a.m. now. So we had to go in the back, get our temperature checked, which you have to do every day before you start a shift When we went back from temperature check to the training room, she was asking the 5 additional new people, like the new people. She was asking them, how far do you live? How far do you live? How far do you live? And they were like, oh, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 35 minutes, whatever. And she was upset with them. She was like kind of yelling at them, like, I don't know why you guys are here. Who told you to come here? I didn't call you. I didn't tell you to come. We don't have enough computers. You guys have to leave and come back like when I call you. And they were saying like, well, someone called us, like a gentleman called us and told us to be here at 7 a.m. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here because it's really early and we don't want to be here this early. So someone had to tell us to come here. Whether it was you or not, it was somebody. So she basically sent them home and they were visibly upset, which is understandable because they came all the way there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I forgot to mention, I had actually applied for a Walmart store that was much closer to where I live, but just keeping in line with how unprofessional and how unorganized Walmart is, when I went on the job portal, you have to log in and like check your application status. It said I was interviewing. And I had never gotten an email, never gotten a phone call, nothing. But it said I was interviewing. So that never worked. That didn't work out. So I had ended up applying for another store, which was like a 35 to 40-minute drive away from where I live. Now I'm there at 7 a.m. the next day after I finish all the training. And then she comes up to us and she's like, why are you guys here? And we said, because you said to come here. And she basically was saying, oh, she didn't say that. Like, if we're done with the training, like, we can leave. Like, we don't have to be there. So we basically showed up there at 7 a.m. for no effing reason. And I was pissed off because I had to get up at like 6, leave home at like 6:15 to get there in time for 7. And I don't get up that early, ever, for anything, okay? So then she was like, okay, you guys have to leave and come back at 11 to that same night. So keep in mind, I had already went there at 2:30 p.m. the day before and was there until like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or something like that. Then I left, drove all the way home, and then came back there the very next morning at 7 a.m. And now she's telling me I have to leave and come back at 11 p.m. that same night. Okay, so left, drove all the way home, came back at 11 p.m. that night. She didn't say anything. All she said was come at 11 p.m. She didn't tell me who to ask for, what to do, I just figured, well, maybe she's gonna be there and she's gonna tell us what to do. So got there at 11 p.m. and I'm parked outside of the store and I'm trying to figure out, well, the store is closed. Like, you can tell the store is closed. Like, the parking lot, like some of the lights are off and like you can tell the store is closed to customers. So I was trying to figure out, how do I get in to the store? Because she didn't even say how to get in. So I basically had to sit in my car and wait until I saw someone else go in, and I had to like go behind them to where the employees enter after hours. And so went to the back of the store where I went before, and I saw one of the other ladies that where did my microphone go? I saw one of the other ladies that I started with. I saw her there in the back, and she had on a Walmart vest, and I was like, where did you get that vest? And she said, well, the lady gave it to me like right after you left. I said, so what are we doing? She said, I don't know. She just said to come here. She didn't say anything apart from to ask for some guy named, I can't recall his name. She said it's one guy named Bill, one guy named Bob. So she said, but I asked the employees and they were like, none of those people work here. I mean, none of those people are here. Like, we don't know where they are tonight. So we eventually found one of them who was one of the managers, and He was like, yeah, I'm just doing temperature checks with everybody. When I'm done, I'll come out and we have a meeting anyway, so I'll just talk to you guys and whatever. So meanwhile, the other employees at the back, they were like trying to get us to like help them do stuff. And we were like, no, because we don't know which like area they're gonna put us in. We don't know what we're gonna be doing. We don't know if we're even supposed to be in the back here. Like, we don't know. So we're not gonna start doing something just to do something. Like, no, we're not doing that. So yeah, so he came out, two managers came out, and they had a meeting with the rest of the staff that was working that night. And this meeting was an emergency meeting, apparently. So they called this emergency meeting to let us know that one of the other employees that worked overnight had tested positive for COVID-19, and that we all may have been exposed to this person at some point over the last few days. It was at this moment that I knew I wasn't coming back to Walmart, because welcome to Walmart, by the way, you might have COVID-19. Well, thank you. That pissed me off already. And then what pissed me off after that was after the meeting, everyone just went back to like normal life, and no one was social distancing. Half of them had on masks, half of them didn't. So anyway, whatever. I'm like, no wonder someone has COVID-19, because look at what y'all are doing. So then what pissed me off after that was they were telling me that, oh, I need to buy safety boots. And they were looking at me like I was supposed to know that. And I was like, why? Like, why do I need safety boots? Why should I have known that when no one told us which area we're going to be working in, what we're going to be doing? So why should I just assume that I would need to buy safety boots? It just didn't make sense to me as someone that was new coming in and didn't know anything, because nothing was explained to us. Because they had some 16-year-old kid doing the training, or whatever you want to call that, basically facilitating the hours long that we were supposed to be sitting there doing online training, and he left after like an hour. So nothing was explained to us. We were just told to show up here and to ask for Bill or Bob. We don't know anything. We're new. That's the point. So anyway, so I wasn't buying any. I refused to buy shoes because I knew within myself I wasn't coming back to this job after tonight. So I refused to buy shoes. So they gave me some makeshift like shoe covers for that night. And then apparently they don't know how to train. They don't know what training is all about. I happen to know what training is all about. I do training at my real job, the real one. I do training there. So I had an expectation of what training or like orientation would be like. And it was nothing like that. It was almost as if they were bringing in new employees for the first time in like 15 years. They didn't know what to do. They were like, oh my God, like, what are we gonna do? Where do we put them? Like, what, like, they were just like a bunch of idiots, like just a bunch of idiots working at that Walmart. Anyway, so he was just basically like, well, I don't really know what to do with you guys, so we're gonna start with the tour. And me and the other lady, we looked at each other like, why do we need a tour of Walmart? Why do we need a tour of Walmart? A store that I've personally been in probably like a couple of thousand of times, okay? I don't need you to tell me that there's soup in aisle 6, juice in aisle 8, and rice on aisle 3. I don't need to know that. What I need to know is, what am I supposed to be doing? Which area am I assigned to? Which department? Is there someone that I'm going to be shadowing? That's what I need to know. What exactly does this job entail? Because your job application, it was all vague. So, and I was basically told, well, once you start, we'll explain everything to you. So now that I'm starting, I expect you to explain everything to me. I like to know what I'm doing before I start doing what I'm doing. So after the tour, the stupid tour of Walmart, mind you, during this tour, he was using all types of Walmart jargon, like things like zoning and all these other stuff that we don't know because we've never worked at Walmart. We've never worked at any type of retail. Like, we don't know anything. That's the point. This is day one. So you should be explaining these terms to us, or like what they mean in the context of what we're going to be doing then, if that makes sense. So that was the problem for me. Yeah, after that, then he put me with some lady who was like stocking shelves or whatever. And I wasn't interested because I already knew I wasn't planning on coming back. But I was still trying to give them a chance to sway me a little bit, like to maybe change my mind, to at least come back for like another day and see how things are going. So they put me with this lady, nice lady. She was a very nice lady. And she was basically like, oh yeah, I've been working here for 20 years and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that's so wonderful. What am I doing? Like, what exactly is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Like, I don't want to hear about your life story. I don't want to hear about how many kids you have. And I just don't care. What I care about is what I'm getting paid to do. So she basically was just telling me just do whatever she does and like just put these stuff on the shelf where they're supposed to go. So I did that for hours. And then all of a sudden I see like all the people walking from their aisles just walking toward the back, and I was just like, what's going on? And she was like, it's break time. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to know that? Like, like y'all didn't say, oh, this is the assigned break. This is the break time. Everybody goes on break at this time. None of that was explained. So how am I supposed to know? Anyway, on top of that, we were told in our orientation that this is a full-time position. Because if I knew it was like a part-time thing, I wouldn't have applied for it. So we were told that it was full-time and like 5 days a week, 11 to 7, and you get an hour break. I'm just saying this is what we were told, okay? And then when we went on break, like lunch break, they were like, okay, half an hour. I was like, to do what? Half an hour what? Like, what do you mean? Half an hour. Half an hour. I didn't understand what half an hour meant. I don't understand that. So come to find out, we were misinformed, and it was actually a half-hour lunch break and a part-time position. So the manager came up to me and he was just like, good job so far. We're gonna put you guys on 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then for a week, and then after that week, we'll like reassess and like see where like what we're gonna be doing or something like that. And when he said it, I was like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? He was like, yeah. And I was like, 3 days? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. So that confirmed for me that, yeah, I wasn't coming back. So then it was like 5 a.m. So like 2 hours left before we were supposed to get off from work. And all the work was done. So she was basically like, so we're done. So for the next couple of hours, just look busy. Like, just pretend like you're like doing stuff with the shelves and just like pretend to look busy. And that was annoying to me because I'd rather just either be not busy and just not do anything, or be busy and do something. Because in my opinion, pretending to be busy is actually more energy than being busy, than just doing something. So that ticked me off a little bit. I didn't like that. And then when I was going in the back, this is earlier, to like get the makeshift shoes because I refused to buy boots. One of the supervisors, not the managers, one of the supervisors, he was like, so is this like your first job? And I was like, what? Like, first of all, I was annoyed. I was offended. I was angry. I didn't want to be there. And I'm like, why are you talking to me? Like, why are you talking to me? All I need you to do is walk me to the back to get the boots so I can go back to the front. Like, I don't want to have a conversation. Like, just stop this. Stop. So I was just like, no, why? And he said something along the lines of, oh, just asking because, like, for most people, this is like their first job. I said, this is not my first job. I said, I have another job, okay, at Cineplex head office, and I do this and I do that and I do this. So it was just annoying to me that he was even talking to me because, like, I could just look at him and just tell that, I don't know, maybe he barely finished high school. Like, he just came across to me as very dumb, just very dumb. He just, his whole affect and like the way he spoke and everything, he just seemed like an idiot. And I was just like, why am I, this is the supervisor, like someone that I'm supposed to be, you know, reporting to? And he's, anyway, I was just like, I was saying to myself, like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, why am I even here? Why am I here walking and talking with this fool who doesn't understand anything? And it was just all stupid to me. It was all stupid. And then at one point, I went into the back to help the lady I was working with do something. And she was just doing all these random things and she wasn't explaining anything. And every time I had to keep asking, she just kept like saying it as if I was supposed to know, or she would just like talk in codes. And I'm like, do you think I want your job? This is what I'm thinking to myself. Like, I don't want your job. Like, do you think I want to be like, I don't get it. Like, calm down, sis. Like, calm all the way down. Because trust me, I don't want your job. I'm just here a couple of nights a week, apparently, to do what I'm supposed to do so I can make a couple of dollars so I can shop on Amazon. I just didn't really care at that point because I knew within myself that I wasn't coming back. I was not coming back. And then they gave us a knife, like a pocket knife. And the manager was, he said, like his exact words were, so yeah, that's a knife. And you're gonna use that to like cut the boxes and stuff. And yeah, it has two blades. So anyway, it comes with an instruction manual in the package if you need to like read it to understand how it works. And just be careful, like don't lose it. It's very expensive. It was like 19 bucks. It's very expensive. So be very careful with it. And I wanted to laugh so hard because I was just like, who are these people? Like, why do you feel it's so important for you to have a conversation with me about what a knife is? I know what a knife is, okay? I don't need to read the instruction manual. I don't need to read it. I know how to work a knife. And he was like, oh, so it's very expensive. It's like $19. And I'm like, okay. Okay, sis, if that's what you call expensive, okay. Sure. Anyway, I already knew within myself that this knife is gonna go home with me tonight because I'm not coming back here tomorrow. This vest is going home with me, these gloves. Everything y'all are giving me right now, I'm gonna take it home and y'all are never gonna see them or me ever again. So that $19, I hope it was well spent because now the knife belongs to me. The shift ended and as more that I want to say, but I don't want to offend anybody because there were a lot of a certain type of people working there, and when they all gather together, it's very annoying, and it just I'm not even gonna say, I'm not even, but they like to hang out with each other and not anybody else. And when they all hang out with each other and they speak their own language, it's just very annoying to me. Not just to me, but to like, it was annoying to other people that were there with me as well. It was annoying. And yeah. Anyway, horrible experience at working at Walmart. It was a horrible experience. I would not recommend anybody to work there unless you need to. Then that's fine. I know people that work at Walmart and they don't have any issue like the one that I have, or if they did, they handled it much better than I did. But I guess knowing that I didn't really need to be there, and that, you know, it wasn't it was like an extra thing. It was something that I wanted, like extra money. It wasn't a necessity that I, maybe that's why I was less tolerant of certain things. If I needed that, if I knew that I need this money to pay my rent or my bills or whatever, I would have dealt with it. But if you know you don't have to deal with something, you know you don't have to deal with it, then your tolerance level is a lot lower. So I already walked in there with like my tolerance level on 1, and all the different things that just kept happening just kept like taking it way, way, way down into the negatives. So yeah. Um, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from working at Walmart. If you want to work at Walmart, go right ahead and work at Walmart. Um, just be careful, you know, ask a lot of questions, and just make sure that you are getting the most out of it that you should be getting out of it. Just make sure that you know what's going on. And because my whole experience was just riddled with a bunch of unprofessionalism and just unorganization. It was completely unorganized from beginning to end, and completely unprofessional. And yeah, I'm really not the one to, I don't do well with that kind of stuff. And just another example of how unprofessional they were and unorganized. When we went back there at 7 a.m. that next morning, she was asking us to log in. And we were just like, okay. We were waiting for the paper that the kid took from us that had all of our login information. We were waiting for it. And she was just trying to figure out, like, why don't you guys know how to log in? Didn't you take a picture of your... And we were like, no. Why would I take a picture of that? Why would I do that? Like, you know, at my real job, we have something called a welcome package, and it has all of your login information in there. And we give it to all the new people for them to keep via email, and they also get a physical copy. Y'all didn't give us any of that. So I'm not gonna commit to my memory or think to take a picture of anything, because I would assume that you would just have that. Anyway, my expectations were apparently too high, and I'm just glad that, I'm not even glad I had the experience, because it was totally unnecessary. It was a waste of time, energy, gas, money, like clothes. Like it was a waste of everything. And my legs started to hurt after that too. So that wasn't for me anyway. But yeah, that's my story time about my experience working at Walmart. I did not take the job on Amazon after that, because I was like, listen, I don't want to get into that kind of situation again where I'm working somewhere just because I want to and I don't really need to, because then I'm not going to tolerate very much at all. And I mean nothing. So that does it for my story time today. By the way, I haven't posted on YouTube a lot recently. It's because I've been on TikTok. TikTok, it's where it's at. So yeah, follow me on TikTok at Barrington Shady. Follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and I will see you guys in my next video. Oh, I forgot. So this is actually my third time attempting to film this, because, okay, the first time I did it, I recorded the video. Listen, I got all dressed up. I had on a nice Gucci outfit. Gucci, everything was Gucci, okay? And then I had like a whole setup here with like a white carpet and everything. I had my ring light, I had my tripods, everything was all set up and ready to go. And I filmed the video, and it was 43 minutes. So I figured by the time as I finished editing, it might be like 30 minutes. And then when I went to go edit, I realized that I recorded the whole video in portrait mode and not landscape. So it would have been like upright with those black bars on the side. Couldn't have that. And so I had to delete that, and I couldn't rotate it because if I rotated it, it wasn't like I was just rotating myself. I was rotating the whole video. So everything rotated. So I couldn't rotate it. So then I recorded it again, um, either the next day or a couple of days later. And again, I had like another little setup going on. It was a nice setup or whatever. But usually I use the front facing camera on this phone, this iPhone 11 Pro. But I wanted to start to use the rear facing camera because I know that it's better quality. And so that's what I did when I did it the second time. And so I had the camera facing me and I was recording just like this. And then I forgot to flip the camera so it could actually face me. So the whole time I was talking, but the camera was pointed at like the wall. So I had to delete that. So and that was like a week ago. And I just didn't have the time, the energy. I was like, I don't want to do this video again. I don't want to talk about this Walmart crap anymore. I'm done. But since I didn't have anything else to do today after work, I didn't feel like door dashing. I didn't feel like, I don't know, I just feel icky. I don't want to do anything besides eat. I have a headache. I don't know if I want to sleep, eat. I don't know what I want to do. But I was like, you know what? Let me just film this video just to get it out because I don't want to talk about Walmart ever again. Ever. I don't even want to go to Walmart. That's it, y'all. Peace and love.